woke up from a nap not too long ago. But all right, what up, big Nique TV, gang, and I'm back with another, freaking video. As soon as I start recording, my phone will not crazy. Alright, so comment down below what y'all eating on tonight. It's still hot, so I'm just twitching back and forth, reading a little bit, then eating a little bit, then back to reading. Hmm. Alright, y'all. This is still hot, so let's get right into it. Where I left off at. Okay. What's going on? Excuse me. Okay. Alright. Let's get into it. Alright. History of me. Did you take your pills? Is the first thing my parents ask me each morning. Lean to the side where y'all so y'all can see me read. It's the first thing my my parents ask me each morning. Well, mostly my dad. It's it annoys me. It annoys me a lot, especially when Jordan echoes their question. It's too icky to have your 10-year-old brother ask you that. It doesn't matter that I don't take the pill for that reason. It's still not something he should be thinking about. It's not something I want to think about. I hate the I hate the whole thing with administration. I mean, menstrual, but administration. Pills, blood, so much blood. I take the pill just for my skin. It's it's to fix my periods too. They used to be awful. Lie in bed, sobbing with pain, awful, and an ocean of blood, instant anemia once, instant anemia once a month. The first time I got my period, I thought I was going to die. The pain was so bad, the bleeding wouldn't stop. My doctor cured it by making me take a birth control pill every single day. No fake sugar pills. I take the real ones every single day of my life. Now I never get my period. I never have that awful pain. My my blood stays. Uh, my blood stays in my body, keeping me upright. My mom freaked out a bit. She was worried that it wasn't natural. She thought having your period was what makes you a woman. I wish I was a man. I asked my I don't know what's going on with my voice, y'all. Eat Lord is on my way go. Still hot, y'all. Mm, what was I asked my doctor to explain how it worked, but what he told me about cycles and, and uterine lining, and uterine lining, and elevated risk didn't make any sense. So I asked Yaiko Shoji. She's a biologist. I figured she would know. She did. She told me that women used to have so many babies they hardly menstruated at all, but now women have only one or two or no babies, and they have them when they're already old, which means they have to which means they have too many periods. All that bleeding puts a strain on their wombs. I try to imagine being a woman in the olden days, being pregnant over and over again, having a dozen children, but I can't imagine being pregnant even once. Yiko says that taking the pill to stop bleeding is more natural than bleeding all the time. She does the same thing. She hasn't had a period in 2 years. Yaiko talked to my mom, explained explained it to her, and mom felt better about it. But she still wasn't happy. You are my daughter, she said. It is difficult to be happy for you to take these pill tris adult pills. Dad didn't have to be uh, Dad didn't have to be persuaded. He's against anyone suffering when they don't have to, especially him, for the price of remembering to take one little pill every morning of my life. I get good skin, no blood, no pain, and according to Yaiko, less chance of cancer. Is a far bargain. It's a fair bargain. Sorry. I really don't understand why I really don't understand why my parents don't trust me to take a pill every morning. I'm the one it hurts if I forget. I'm the one with incent what incentives, strong incentives, but no. Every morning is the same question. Did you take your pill? Yes, Dad, I took it. Okay. Like I did yesterday and the day before. I'll take it tomorrow and the day after that, and so on forever. I take the pill and I don't complain about their nagging. Wow, well, not as often as I could before. That time, that first time after that first kiss, after the sickle fall, and after the icicle fall, and I picked up a broken shard, felt felt it, yeah, what the fuck, felt it cold and knife sharp in my fingers. After that, I dropped the ice and ran. That's what I'd been doing before I paused under the bridge to look at the icicles. Before Zach Rubin saw me, I'd been running. That's what I like to do in Central Park. Run and run and run and run as hard and fast as I could. Zach took off after me. He caught me, breathing hard to keep pace. I ran harder. He accelerated too, but was struggling. Wait up, he gasped. I slowed. You're so fast, he gasped. Matching my stride. Yeah, my stride. I'm fast, but you're faster. Yes, I said. Faster than anyone I've ever run against. Too fast, and my dad says. To really show Zach, I took off, ran as fast as I could all the way up and over Heartbreak Hill. Well, then I stopped. I, I stopped at the first empty bench and waited for him. He got there at last, dripping with sweat, what, collapsing beside me. How? He panicked. He panicked. Mm. You're not even on the track team. The school's track team is as crappy as all our other teams. I ran, I run all the time. How can you be so fast? He wiped the sweat from his face with the sleeve of his sweater. It was synthetic and and not very absorbent. Do you train out of school? I shook my head. I just run. I heard a rumor, Zach said, more even, his breath starting to catch up with his words, that you were born a boy. I don't think you look like a boy, but you sure as hell run like one. You should be going to the Olympics. You're crazy fast. I laughed. Crazy fast. That's how it felt sometimes. Good crazy. There's nothing I love more than running. Do you ever compete? We just did. I was still laughing, real competing. Zach said races, medals, ribbons, all that stuff. I shook my head. Too much fuss. Too kissed me again. I wonder if I should kiss him. Who are you? Zach said. He straightened up, wiped his face again. You're not even sweating. I run a lot, I said. The more I run, the less I sweat. I leaned forward, wiped the sweat between his upper lip and nose, and then I kissed him. That was a lot, y'all. I need to eat. I'm fat, y'all. Mm. Uh, I had a long nap, and I don't eat dinner. And mm. Oh man, got the I'm eating like eat rice and chicken. It's baked chicken. I believe it's boneless. Yeah, it's boneless chicken. Oh man, I need to get a bottle of water. Give me a second. Yeah, y'all gonna watch me be fat and read. Mm-hmm. I don't even think this actually just rice. It must have been like he made like soup, but mixed rice with it too. Let's say after climbing someone else's fire escape is as easy as climbing your own. They're all basically the same. The lie in how only differences lie in how recently painted they are, how bad the rust, how loose the bolts holding them to the brickwork, how much laundry hangs from them, pot how many potted plants. The higher you climb, the more likely a window will be open. Most often, not directly by the fire escape, unless they've left one open for you on purpose, like Zach used to do for me when he was still alive and waiting for me. This time, the kitchen window is firmly closed, and the grate and the grate across pulled across and locked. I crouch on the escape, looking in, even with no lights on through a dirty window and the gaps in the grate. I can see that it's a mess. There are things all over the floor. The kitchen table is piled high with stuff. The sink full of dishes. I don't think they've cleaned anything since Zach disappeared. I bet it smells worse than it looks, even though a closed window, I can tell the place is thick with grief and dust and emptiness. The kitchen is the heart of Zach's home, but there's no there's no one in it. I swing to the outside of the escape, then step across to the first window sill. Zach's room, Zach's brother's room, mostly a storage room now that he's in college, or has that changed as he come home to be with his parents? I mean, has he come home to be with his parents? Where is he? There's no light on in the room, no sounds of movement. One foot on the staircase, the other on the sill. I leaned forward. I leaned forward and gripped the bricks with my fingertips, transferring the weight from my right foot to my left. I crouched down to try the window, locked. I wiped my fingers on my pants and stepped across to the next window sill. I don't look down, not not for fear of falling, but because in the dark my balance has to stay on the horizon, the horizontal, not vertical exile. Access. I need my eyes focused on here, not there. The bathroom window is also dark. It's open a crack. Ouch. Wow. But it's too small and too high for me to get through. No one in there either. I step to the sill in front of Zach's room. The windows a a fraction open, barely enough for me to slip my fingers under. I ease it open, swinging my right leg, then my left, then the rest of me through, dropping to the floor on a pile of Zach's clothes. I wipe my grimy, grimy. I wipe my grimy hands on my pants, bird shit, to my fairly. I'm fairly sure I can smell what the false the phosphate. I don't know, though not as strongly as I can smell Zach, even without turning on the lights. I can smell that they haven't changed a thing, haven't stripped the bed or changed his sheets, haven't moved anything. It's like Zach is still here. I'm almost afraid to breathe for fear of replacing his breath with mine. My eyes adjust, my ears too. I can hear traffic from the street below, a helicopter overhead, someone shouting in the apartment next door, but there's no one but me in this one. The pile of clothes extended into the middle of the floor from the smell. They are gym clothes, salty and reek, but salty and rank and Zach. I stepped past the bed, not looking at it because I don't want to think about there, what's not there, what was there. I knock over water bottles. They're all at least half full. Water trickle, trick, trickle, trickles across the floor. I bend down and start writing them. My eyes on them, not the bed. Remind myself, but I can't bring myself to stand up. The desk is cluttered with notes and books. I should look at those. My throat feels tight. I haven't been in this room since before Zach disappeared. I swallow again, stand up, close my eyes, willing them dry. I concentrate on the smells, on the Zach funk, Zach stink, Zach sweat, Zach dirty socks, Zach meatness, meatiness. I cringe from the I cringe from the word. Me is what Zach is now. Me is a word for a person once they're dead. Oh my goodness, y'all. I ain't gonna eat. Food still hot. Mm-hmm. It's so flavorful, y'all. Mm-hmm. I'm not entirely sure why I'm here. I was sure when I started climbing the fire escape. I tried to recapture that uncertainty. Was I hopping? Was I hoping to find him? Was oh shit? Was I hoping? My word fucking up, me fucking me up, yo. I'm not dyslexic. Was I hoping to find him? He's not here. There's only there's only the smell of him has sawed off skin and hair cells, clothes that were once pressed against him, bottles he's drunk from 100 times of what he used to be. I mean, 100 signs of what he used to be, how he used to be, but not him, not that. I opened my eyes, his moved to his desk, treading carefully off over the clothes. I turned the desk lamp on and blinked at the darkness. I mean, and, and blink at the brightness. For a moment, black For a moment, black spots play across my eyes, and then I'm looking at a pile of books. The nearest one has a plain red cover with the word training print in caps and black marker. Zach's handwriting, his training log, all the guys on the team have to keep one. He's a record. It's a record of their progress, what they've eaten, how many calories, how much they weigh, how many extra hours training they've done, how many games won by how much, and all his own steps. I pick it up, turn the first page. It probably won't tell me much. It occurs to me that the cops must have seen this room. Have they taken things away? Examine them. The thought appeals me, but I don't know. But I'm not sure why. I point I point the lamp toward the floor next to the desk and sit there with my back to the bed. I turn my page. Yeah, I I turn the pages, trying not to think of it in Zach's hand. Him scrambling these numbers and words is exactly like any other training log. Calories, pounds, reps, points, wins, losses. His weight stays steady. He increases his calories. His weight doesn't budge. He writes his frustration at his lack of bulk. Shit, still 170, 171, 172, 169, 170. Shit. The pages are all the same. Calories up, weight steady. or down, wins and losses, points and rebounds, and steals, starting, not starting, a a punishing, inconsistent. I mean, a punishing, inconstant heart. I don't know. More than 30 pages in, it scroll. What? It scrolled on the left hand side. I don't know what that means. It's not anything Zach would say. It's not even something he would think. I never heard him say those words. Will, heart maybe, probably, possibly punishing, but definitely not inconstant. That word seems so old fashioned. Who would say that or write it? I peer closer. Is definitely not his handwriting. Too spiky. I think about tearing the page out, comparing it to Sarah's handwriting. She's poetic and overwrought. Over rough. I don't know. It's like something she might say. Does Sarah think Zach had a meant a Does Sarah think Zach had a mean heart? That she does. That she does. Is it a message for me? I keep I keep turning the pages, but those are the only words that aren't about his weight and the games he's played. I search I search the rest of the room, but I don't know what I'm looking for, so I don't find it. I take one of his dirty jerseys, the number 12 on the back. It reeks of him. I plan I plan never to wash it. That little girl. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what's happening? Child, chicken. Huh? I don't know what you were saying. What? Hello? Is that another language? Because I don't speak that language. Alright. Make sure. Oh. Okay. Alright. Got on now. All right. After the rumor that Aaron Moncaster is missing, what is missing? Rustless. I don't know. Do the school from from student to student, classroom to classroom, the teachers too. I'm not sure who Erin is. I don't recognize her name. I hear about it in English. Struggling to read a poem about an icebox. Chanel whispers to Sarah. No, Sarah says. First dot, now Erin. Is she dead? Did they know each other? She a freshman. Ouch. Yeah, yeah, my thing falling apart. Yeah, second. Oh, I should have. She She a freshman, he a senior. It seems unlikely. They look they look at me. I can hear them thinking how unlikely Zach being with me was. So why not Aaron? It couldn't be a coincidence. Two kids from the same school going missing so close together. How often does that happen? Does someone out there hate this school? Will it happen again? I can smell the fear. Chanel already carries pepper spray, but by yeah, already kills. I can smell the fear. Chanel already carries pepper spray. By the end of the day, other girls are saying they will too. That or a loud whistle. The boys talk about knives. I'm not afraid. Dangerous. I sit in dangerous words. Failing to learn about some code of teacher. Lisa Aiden seems to think we should know rules for Hollywood in the olden days. Who cares? I won't be aiming. I won't be arming myself. The greats say you should never carry a weapon if you don't know how to use it. I know how to hunt with a knife. Grandmothers taught me how to use a slingshot and bows and arrows. Neither of them are as effective as traps, but there's a world of difference between killing a rabbit or even a deer and defending yourself against a person. Besides, I can't imagine anyone attacking me. I'm too fast. Makai, Lisa says loudly. I look up. Sorry, I say. Do you know the answer? Um, do you know the question? I'm sorry, I say. I was thinking about Irene. I mean, I was thinking about Aaron Monchester. She nods. Many of us are, but we have to go with, but we have to go on with this class. My question was, what are some word? What are some of the words that are generally acceptable to use now that we're forbidden by the production code. I'll say again, I have no idea. I tried to think of a word that might have been bad in the olden days, but isn't so much now. Damn, I asked, sort of, Lisa says, and begins to explain. I tune out. I'm trying to remember which one was Aaron. Was she black or white? Kind of a white sounding name. I don't pay attention to the freshmen except to be glad that I'm not one. A few more months and I'll be out of here. They have years to wait. I'll be honest, I don't really care about Aaron. Maybe that's why I'm not afraid. Aaron isn't Zach. Her going missing isn't going to bring him back. Part of me is mad that people are talking about her as if she's as important as Zach, as if they've forgotten him. I hate them. By the end of the day of a day filled with talk and speculation, not to mention rumors that she and Zach were together, I start to hate Aaron too. Zach hasn't even been buried yet. My chicken. My chicken. Don't like fat on chicken, y'all. I like chewy shit. I'm picky with texture, picky with everything. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. I'm not going to sleep, y'all. I'm just getting into how good the food is. Mm. I only did the DNA testing because before. I only did the DNA testing because the results went to our homes, not to the school. Because Yaiko promised that we didn't have to share the results with the class if we didn't want to. I probably shouldn't have done it. I was curious, but when the results came, I hid them in a drawer unopened. I didn't want to see the proof of the family illness in black and white. I certainly wasn't going to share the results with my biology class, but I was there for the day. Everyone except me shared their results. No one has 100% anything. I could have told them that without the expensive testing. The whole class buzzed with it, calling out their results, laughing. Only a few of us sat quiet. Me one, Zach another. He was in he was in back. I was toward the front, but I could hear his quiet. Brandon didn't believe it or said he didn't, but his 11% African made him happy. He started joking around he started joking about basketball as far I mean I keep saying as far as if a drop of African DNA would suddenly give him a over a as if a drop of African DNA would suddenly give him a crossover dribble. Oh please, Deshaun said, looking at Brandon as if he were something full stuck to the bottom of his shoe. 11%, Brandon said. What makes you 89% dickhead? Tayshawn said. Everyone laughed. Brandon started to respond, but Tayshawn was louder. Says he says here I'm 23% white. That mean I'm going to be a stockbroker who can't dance. Please. Brandon laughed like it didn't bother him, but it did. The look he gave Tayshawn was savage. The look he gave Tayshawn was savage. What do you think these numbers mean? Yaiko Shoji said into the brief silence. No one put a hand up. I knew what it meant, that no one is exactly what they think they are. We all have every kind of DNA floating in us: white, black, Asian, Native American, human, monkey, reptile, junk DNA, all sorts of genes that do not express. I have the family illness. My brother doesn't, nor my father, but who knows what will happen with it? Who knows what will happen if Jordan has kids? His genes are as tainted as mine. You think these numbers are meaningful? Yayoki looked around the room, making eye contact with each of us. Well, Lucy said, tentative, what? Tentatively, I guess not, because even though I guess not, because even though it says here 10% Asian and 3% African, when I fill in the next form that asks for race, write white. There are, there were murmurs of agreement across the classroom. There is no space on those forms for percentages. Tayshawn said, you only get to be one thing. Yoyoki nodded. Indeed. Additionally, these tests are not currently reliable. The murmurs got louder. Brandon Yeah, Brandon Squawk. Why do we do why do we do it then? Yoyoki held up her hand. The test is ability is the test's ability to identify your DNA is dependent on what DNA is available to available to the company. Turned to the board and started drawing a DNA spiral. The light caught um but the light caught particles of chalk floating 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 in the air. I could smell it, taste it on the tip of my tongue. This test was done. Yeah, this test was done. Yahiko said by comparing your DNA. She pointed to the spiral she'd drawn with the DNA in that what peculiar. But no, it's not peculiar. Particle, particle. Y'all, I sound so fucking slow. What the fuck? How do you pronounce this word? Particular. Some words my tongue just can't fucking pronounce, and I be feeling slow as shit. Like I be feeling so fucking slow when I'm trying to pronounce words. I just be like, I be frustrating my fucking self. Like, what the fuck? All right, company database. I'm laughing at myself. Don't. Yeah. All right. Let me. All right, y'all. Let me finish this. All right. My head. My fucking. You like my little. What's it? What I was about to say? Mushroom with. When I take my when I take the curls out, it's gonna flow down like a mushroom. A mushroom head. Yeah. I did it the other day. And trying to figure out when I'm gonna take them out because I gotta go to a wedding next Friday. So yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a wedding. I'm so proud of my brother. One of them did it. Hey, that's all. Oh, I got four brothers, and only one of them succeeded to get married. God damn, it's on us. Mm, my best brother. Cause I don't know the fuck them other three doing. The one that's getting married, I call him my twin, even though he's a lot older than me. But we still look alike, even though we're like, I'm a brown skin version of him. He light skin, you know. Fuck it. Like, cause me and him, like, we both weed heads, and we like, we both quiet, like, I mean, he probably would express himself a lot more than me. I don't know. He's a Taurus. I'm a, I'm a Aquarius. So we kind of like we kind of the same in there, you know. But anyway, cause I'm at an hour and one. All right, all right, all right. Let me get serious. All right. What percentage of the world's DNA do you think they're likely to have? 5%, 10, 15. Brandon looked at Will. No one said anything. I couldn't imagine it would be a very big percentage. The world is so big, the world is so big, there are so many people in it. Less than 1%. Yeah, 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 Yoki. I mean, yeah, Yiko. I've been saying her name right this whole time. And then this one time, I fucking saying the wrong shit. Alright. Yeah, Yiko. Because that remind me, it remind me of Aniko. So, alright. Alright, yeah, Yiko said at last. I think I'm gonna name my child after Aniko, my first kid. If it's a girl, it's gonna be Yaiko. Cause that name is cute. It's like Yaiko. I don't know. Yaiko Aniko. And then the last name. So whatever. That's gonna be my first daughter name. It's gonna be named after Nico. And yeah, period. It's like no, that ain't, it's like no for real though. That's a cute name though. All right, Yaiko said at last, considerably less, so they have a very small database of DNA, a database that does not contain the DNA of everyone in the world. She waited a moment as we digested that. I was wondering how they could tell us anything. I was wondering how they could tell us anything at all about ourselves if they had so little data. I still wasn't going to open my results. They take their DNA from pure sources, African, um, European, and Asian groups where there's been relatively little marrying into different groups, but there are very few pure people left in the world. Many people argue that these tests work from a faulty premise. Y'all dumb as shit. The class was silent. What what was Yaiko saying? That the test couldn't tell us anything, that there was no such thing as race. I looked around the room and saw lots of frowning faces, all except Brandon, who was doodling on his hand. What? The company looks the company looks for markers in our DNA that they have identified as African or Asian or European or Native American, but with so little of the world's DNA mapped, the odds that they are currently identifying the markers in our DNA are not high. Say they identify one of one of your markers as African. It may be that they are identifying your unmapped marker from another part of the world with their mapped marker from somewhere in Africa. Does that mean if the test says you've got no African DNA, it's wrong? Sandra, yeah, Sandra asks, she's very light skinned, lighter than Chanel, even several shades lighter than me. White people usually think she's white, despite relaxed despite her relaxed curls and full lips. She'd been still since reading her results. Like me and Zach, she hadn't said a word. Definitely, Yaiko said firmly. If we did the test with a different company saying, I'm at a different company using a different database, your results would change. Biologically speaking, the so-called races have more similarities than they have differences. There is only one race, the human race. Sickle cell anemia is sometimes called a black disease because it is more common in people of African descent, but it is also relatively common in those of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Indian descent. We are one race. Food made me dance, y'all, and sing and shit. Be in my own word when I'm eating. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Right now, what you know about your ancestry and cultural heritage is cultural heritage is likely to be more true than anything. A test like this can tell you that that may change we ever if we ever get to the point where all the DNA world when all I mean that that may change if we ever get to the point where all the world's DNA is mapped. But right now, we are, but right now, you are what you think you are. I thought about my family and found myself nodding. Sandra was too. I've seen her parents, unlike mine. They're both black. I wondered what my DNA test looked like, but I still didn't open the envelope that night. Family history. Jordan and me We hate each other. We think, he thinks I should be locked in a cage. I think he should never have been born. You think I, what? Oh, you think I exaggerate that, uh, that sim, you think I exaggerate that siblings often say they hate each other, but don't mean it. You're wrong. We hate each other like Cain and Abel. What and siblings fight and siblings fight and kill each read about brothers who fought on opposite sides of the Civil War, fought and killed each other. Jordan's worse than that. It's not that we believe different things, it's that he doesn't smell right. There's something wrong with Jordan. I think he's a bad seed, but mom and dad won't believe me. He steals from me, sneaks into my room, and takes things. I took I told him I'd kill him next time he did it. So he took Zach's sweater after. I love my mom more than my dad, though sometimes the fractured, un-American way she talks is embarrassing. She doesn't nag me the way he does. She doesn't always take Jordan's side. At breakfast, Dad again, starts in again about my going upstate. We're all squeezed into our tiny kitchen around the table that's not a whole lot bigger than a school desk. Damn. There's barely enough room for our plates. Damn. Our bikes are hanging upside down over our heads. I mean, oh, upside down over our heads, cause there's nowhere else to put them down. If I if I get up too quickly, I forget they're there and bash my head down. Unfortunately, Jordan steals too short to get clobbered. He'll grow. If I stretch out my right arm, reach past Jordan, I can almost touch the fridge. Damn. When we sit at when we sit at the kitchen table, you can no longer open the pantry door. My feet are tucked up under my chair because the food processor, coffee maker, and toaster live under the table. Damn. I hate the grease. I tell Dad, shoving bacon into my mouth. Don't. I snap at Jordan, who's just elbowed me in the process of twisting to pick up the toast he dropped. Brat. Leave it, Jordan, Mom says. I will clean after. You do not want to be late for school. Yes, I do, Jordan says, sticks his tongue out at me. I do not want you to be late for school. Stop with these wriggles. Wrigglies. I don't know. Eat your breakfast. You we have, I mean, yeah, you have 10 years, not two. No, you don't, Makai. Dad says, ignoring Jordan. And Mom, you always have a wonderful time up there. No, I don't. I always run away and hide so I don't have to be anywhere near them or my stupid cousins. I'm keeping my elbows firmly by my side so I don't whack into the wall or Jordan's sticky mouth. Not that I object, not that I object to hurting him. I object to hurting him, but I don't want slimy syrup all over my elbow. Stop. I mean, Jordan, stop. Mom takes the maple syrup away, but I don't like baking without sweet. Your baking, it drowns. You have 10 minutes to finish. We must go. Right. What? Right. Mom walks Jordan to his school on her way to the posh one where she teaches French. Every school day she battles to get him out the door. I think it would be good for you to get away, Makai. With everything that's been going on, fresh air, you mean with I fluttered, I fluttered, yeah, with him being dead. Dad nods. Yes, Zach was your friend. You're taking it hard. She mourns Isaiah, saying that, I mean, Mom says, we must allow her this. Zach's a fart, Jordan says. I am tempted to strangle him right there at the kitchen table. I would love to watch his head fall fall into his syrup drowned bacon. Quiet, Jordan. You must act your age, Mom says, squeezing out of her seat, avoiding the bicycles. Putting her plate in the sink and the maple syrup in the fridge. There is much more space upstate. Dad says there's more space in a coffin there than there is here. I imagine Zach stuck in one. The bacon loses flavor. I'm chewing dust. Dad turns to Mom. She belongs there. I force myself to eat the rest of my bacon. Should put she should be put to sleep, Jordan says. Quiet, Mom tells him. You should be flushed down the toilet, I say, without even looking at him. With the alligators. Mom, Jordan wills. Quiet, please. You know she doesn't mean it. Dad looks at me. He knows that I do. You do not have to go where you don't want, Mom says, her back against the kitchen sink, but perhaps you could think about it. Things have been so. Sometimes she struggles to find the right English word, so she pauses again and notices Jordan pulling his bacon to pieces and then pushing it through the lake of syrup. Stop, Jordan. Either you eat it or you don't. She turns her attention back to me. Foul. Things have been so foul. Perhaps it would help to get away. It does not have to be with the Greats. Where else would she go? Dad says. Are you proposing we send her to Club Mid? Well, couldn't you take her along on your next assignment? Dad and I took a look at each other. No, we say at the exact same time. Mom starts laughing. You two could not be more alike. Dad is wearing the same skull squall I don't know scowl I can feel on my own face. The sight of it makes me what scrunch my scrunch scrunch my forehead even more. Mom leans forward over Jordan's head, ducking to avoid the bicycles and kisses my cheek. You do not have to go anywhere you don't want to. I mean, you don't. You do not want. Shit. Did you take your pill? Dad asks. I don't bother answering. After. I don't think we love. I don't think he loved me. Sarah tells me. I am sitting alone. She slides in next to me as if we're friends. How can she have forgotten how much we're not? Why is she talking to me about whether Zach loved her? Did you? She asked, did I what? I don't want her to sit next to me. I want to eat my lunch alone, undisturbed, unobserved. Ever since that, ever since Zach disappeared. No, ever since Brandon blabbed, people have been watching me, talking about me, but me and Sarah sitting together for lunch, that's too weird. Everyone in the cafeteria is watching, leaning forward, trying to overhear. Did you love him? She asked, lowering her voice. I rolled my eyes so I don't have to say out loud how stupid I think her question is. He's dead, Sarah, I said. I say quietly, thinking about him, talking about him all the time. That's not going to make him come back to life. You do know that, right? She flinches, but her eyes don't fill with tears. I just asked you if you loved him. That's why is that such a hard question to answer? I sign. It doesn't matter. He's dead. You're scared of answering, Sarah says. That means you loved him. If you say so, I suppose you think you love him. I don't want to talk about Zach with her. I don't want to talk about Zach with anyone. Saying his name hurts. Thinking it, I realized then that neither of us, has been saying his name. We say he or him or his, but never Zach. Damn. Of course, Sarah says. We weren't together, Sarah. Brandon was lying. And I've been messing with you. We'd run together sometimes. There wasn't nothing else to it. You have you, you have his sweater. I was cold. He loaned it to me. I was I wasn't cold. My my head was in his lap. He was stroking the tiny curls on my scalp. All I could smell was him. I said I liked his sweater. He took it off, gave it to me, and it stank of him. Zach Reek. I love, I love that sweater. I'm not stupid, Sarah says, and I don't laugh. You think you're so good at hiding things, but I can read you. I know you were, I know you were together. You can't keep the way you think about him off your face. I know you loved him. You did, didn't you? I shrug. Sarah starts to cry again, quietly, but it doesn't matter. Everyone is staring. They can see. I wish I could cry. Why are you so what cynical? It's not an anger. I mean, it's not an angry question. I think she really wants to know. Trying to be like my dad, I tell her, which isn't even close to true. Yeah, to true. But she's seen my arms dealing daddy. So she probably believes he's all tough and cynical and wor- worldly wise. Dad isn't cynical at all. Not really. He's he's chock full of hope and optimism and optimism. I suspect cynic, cynic, my cynicalism comes from pretending to be what I'm not. Covering myself in lies makes me cynical. I know I'm not trustworthy. How likely is it that the world is true if I'm not? But my dad lies as much as I do, and he's not cynical. Do you think he loved me? Sarah asks, wiping her eyes discreetly. I wonder who she thinks she's fooling. Who, my dad? I ask, even though I know exactly who she means. Of course he does. He's my dad. No. Zach, do you think Zach loved you? Do you think he loved you? Sarah says, wiping her eyes discreetly. I wonder who she thinks she's fooling. Who, my dad? I ask. Even though I know exactly who she means, of course he does. He's my dad. No, Zach. Do you think Zach loved you? I have a strong urge to punch Sarah in the face. She said his name. Instead, I turned to my cold BLT, peeling away the damp bread, pushing the wilted salad aside. The bacon is burned. I have to chew hard to get it small enough to swallow. As much as he loved any of his running partners, I suppose, I say at last, hoping that I never have to speak to Sarah again, but June is so far away. Family history. The family illness isn't just acne and excessive blood. There's more to it than that. Yet another reason I take the pill every single day of my life. And remember the fur I was born with? The light coat of the light coat of hair all over my body. It came back along with the usual puberty horror. I got I got hair in all the wrong places. No, you don't understand. In the wrong places. Like my face and back and stomach. My face, yeah. So the pill, it keeps the hair away as well as my period and acne too. Without it, I'm a freak. Though according to the kids at school, even with it, my freakiness my freakishness, sorry, is not well disguised, but there's no pill for that. I blame my family con- for contaminating me with their weirdness and their tainted hairy genes. The family illness, they call it. If I were from a different family, a normal family, I wouldn't have it. To my grandmother's credit, she did try to dilute the family disease instead of marrying her cousin Hillard. What? Instead of marrying her cousin Hillard, she left the farm to find a father for her baby. Grandmother was convinced that too much cousin marrying was responsible for the family illness. She was going to have a child whose father was as unrelated to her as she could find. Grandmother went to San Francisco and got pregnant by a black sailor. She said they spent a week together and that he loved, game to gamble. He was from Marseille. She said his English wasn't very good. That was all she could remember. She was relieved that Dad hadn't inherited the gambling love or the family illness that was left for me. Yeah, what the fuck is going on? Y'all, I gotta use the bathroom. I should be back. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. And I'm cold. Before, one time, one time I was walking along Broadway playing Dodge the Crowd, which is me testing myself, moving as fast as I can, waving through them all without accelerating into a run and without touching anyone or having them touch me. Anytime I make contact, I have to go back to the beginning of the block. It's a game. I'm really good at it. When I play it, I don't think about anything else. Not not Zach, not anyone. I only ever play it on crowded streets and avenues. Broadway works, fifth uh but Fifth Avenues okay as well. Times Square is the best. This time it was Broadway, a Sunday. I was waving, I was weaving, concentrating on the muscles of my body on the air around me. It was like those few inches of air above my skin were part of me too, and an extra layer. Emptiness, me stretching into space. I don't know. When I spread like that, I can go for miles and miles, untouched and clear. I will feel everyone as they move through air, feel them and their clothes and their bags, swinging arms, hands clutching cell phones, sodas, other hands, clothes, umbrellas for the rain that wouldn't come even through even though sorry my na- my even though my nostrils prickled with the smell of it. Then there was someone looking at me as I slid past them, looking like how the greats how the greats stare. I twitched and stopped and turned to look back at the person with the staring eyes. Two people walked into me. They swore. I said sorry. It was a white boy, same age as me, I thought, maybe younger. He was smaller than me, skinny. He was standing and staring at me, standing and staring. Then he took off the way I would. Then, and there was me, too unfuddedly, too, what? And there was me to be fuddily to follow. I don't know. How did he do that? How did he see me first? After I forced myself to go to school. I regretted almost immediately. The first words I hear as I walk up the stairs, I hear they were killed with an axe. The school is floating on rumors about what happened to Zach and Erin Manchester. He's dead, so she must be too. An axe murderer did that? A serial killer? Her father's religious. He caught Irene and Zach together. If Zach went with that Mackay girl, he'd go with anyone. Her boyfriend did it. Her boyfriend did it. This despite Zach and Irene not knowing each other, despite no one knowing if she has a boyfriend or a religious father. They were both locked in a basement. The serial killer tortured them and then dumped their bodies in Times Square, or was it Rockefeller Center? Only Only Irene hasn't been found yet, and no one at school knows where Zach's body was found. Maybe she's still in the basement, so are Zach's ears. The killer kept souvenirs. The worst The worst rumors are the ones about me. Some are saying that I killed him, that I killed them both. Everyone talks about me, even the teachers. They stare. Some are not talking to me, cutting past me online. Yeah, cutting past me online, averting their eyes, whispering, "We all know. We know she's a liar. Uh, we know she's a liar. A, a slut kills what comes next. Liar, slut, bitch, murderer, always whispering." It doesn't matter that there are also whispers about Brandon, though not nearly so many. But Sarah and Tayshawn, were they sleeping together? Did Zach find out and Tayshawn accidentally kill him? But that doesn't explain Irene. Maybe Brandon killed Irene, a copycat killing, and now he's waiting till he gets someone alone to do it again. Doesn't matter that none of this stuff is true. The less we know, the more ferocious the talk gets. All we have is a dead boy, a missing girl, and rumors. How can they say those things about Sarah and Tayshawn? They're the most popular kids in school, yet now, well, will they grieve? Will they grieve? They have to deal. with these stupid rumors. The school is nastily off kilter. Everyone's gone nuts. Teachers stutter step their way through their lesson plans. Oh, students keep drifting back to talk of Zach and of Irene, of me, of Tashawn, of Sarah, of Brandon. They try to talk about school games, TV, their boyfriend, girlfriend, regular gossip, but they can't stay there. Zach, Irene, they have to talk about speculate. Ouch. Speculate, imagine, scare themselves as bad that no one's walking or riding the subway home alone anymore. Despite the crazy traffic, some parents are sending their children to and from school in cars. All of them worry about who be next. I stuttered. I'm hoping Brandon, but right now they can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Especially the ones calling me liar, slut, bitch, killer. I can't imagine this ever ending. I will always be at school, skin tight, head high, acting like I don't care, avoiding everyone, avoiding anything. Avoiding everything. Only when I'm running in the park does my head stop thumping. It will be like this for the rest of the year. I bet they'll still be talking next year too, when there's when there'll be a new set of seniors and all and we'll all be off to wherever it is we go next. I'm hoping hell for most of them. I'm not sure where I'm going. I filled out applications, sent them off, but I'm not optimistic. Connie is my best chance, though I'm not sure we can afford even that. Part of me would be happy to wind up somewhere no one's heard of Zach or what happened to him. Somewhere far from the city. Wherever I go, I doubt I'll be with anyone from here. Sarah will be at some Ivy League school, Harvard or Yale or Princeton, or at the very least, Vassar. Tayshawn will be at Mitt. Brandon will be in jail. I'll never see any of them again. Damn. I'm glad. I think I don't want to talk about Zach, but how will it feel not to be able to? I try to imagine myself at college. I fail. I want to keep studying biology, but I'm not sure why. If all else fails, then I guess I can work up on the farm. A fine way to spend the rest of my life after. At the second group counseling session, Jill Wayne asked us to tell her what we think about Zach. We going to talk about Aaron too? Kayla asks. Everyone starts talking. I could shut my ears. Why would we talk about Aaron? Brandon shouts over the top of everyone else. She's a freshman. Do you even know who she is? I dislike agreeing with Brandon, but he's right. Looking around the room, I can see others agree. As a matter of fact, yes, I do. Kayla yells back. Her sister and me been friends for years. I've known Erin since she was a baby. Well, I haven't, Brandon says. Just because you Aaron's disappearance, Jill Wayne interrupts, raising her voice, letting us know that she's the boss, is disrupting. I mean, is disturbing. We must. We most definitely talk about. We most definitely can talk about it. Yeah, like who's next? You really think that? Tayshawn says she could have run away. I heard she was fighting with her mom and dad a lot. Maybe it's not nothing to do with Zach. Erin's a good girl, Kayla says. Sure, Tayshawn says. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like the two things are connected. He's Hispanic, she's white. He's a senior, she's a freshman. He was on a school he was on a scholarship. She's from money. They don't even live in the same part of the city. Tyshawn talks as if he didn't know Zach, as if they weren't best friends. He was Hispanic, Brandon says. He was a senior. You know he's dead. Sarah says you don't have to go on about it. Isn't that what we're here for? Brandon asks, sneering to go on about it. Jill Wang holds her hands up, palms out, reassuring us, but all I can see are the cows, the cow, what? All I can see is the calluses where her fingers join her palm. I wonder how she got them. We are we are here, she says loudly and clearly. Try to cope with what happened. A senior, Zachary Rubin, who all know and many of you cared about, is dead. We all have a lot to say and a lot we don't know how to say. That's why I'd like us to do this exercise. What did you think of Zach? What did he mean to you? Sarah, she asks, lowering her voice. Do you want to go first? No, Sarah says yes. She pauses to look anywhere but at our faces. He was gentle, she says, but and Brandon snickers so loud it what it ricochets across around the room. That's enough, Brandon, Jill Wang says. She she's giving Brandon her evil eye. I meant Sarah says that he was a gentle person, kind. He never said anything mean about anyone. That's true too. He was both kinds of gentle. Thank you, Sarah. Brandon, since you're so eager to speak, what did you think about Zachary Rubin? Brandon shrugged. He was like, I didn't have nothing against him. Anything against him. She corrects. I don't I don't think counselors are supposed to do that. Her dislike of Brandon is leaking out. Happens to all of us. Not that neither, he says, grinding at his own wit. Do we have to say different things? Lucy says, because I was going to say he was kind, but Sarah already said that. You can say whatever you want. I want to say that this is bullshit, but everyone should shut the and everyone should shut the fuck up. But I suppose that's not what the counselor had in mind. He was kind, then Lucy says, and funny. He made me laugh. I liked him. He wasn't kind, gentle, but not. He wasn't kind, gentle, but not kind. They are confusing his easiness with kindness. A kind person goes out of their way to do right by people. Zach wasn't like that. Smooth. He wanted smoothness, a life without what a life without agitation. All the girls liked him. Brandon says. Then he lowers his voice to a whisper, but you were no chance, loose. He liked dark girls, really dark girls. He smirks at Sarah. Makai was barely dark enough. It's no longer your turn, Brandon. Jill Wayne says, I wonder if she heard all that he said. Sarah did. She's glaring at Brandon like she wanted to smack him. I'd like to kill him. I'm next. The counselor looks at me and nods. I don't know, I say. I pass. You can't think of anything you'd like to say, Jill asks, even something small. The exercise works much better if we all contribute. I can think of many things I want to say. The taste of his mouth, the smell of him after he ran, how it felt to run my fingers along his flank. Hmm. Sarah is staring at me. Makai, Jill Wayne prompts like Lucy said. He was funny. Andrew, he shrugs. I don't know the guy. I don't even know why I have to come here. We, you were all the same year as that. Such, such a violent, unexpected death is shocking whether you knew him well or not, I guess. Andrew says, sounding bored, not shocked. I try not to think about it. Zach was okay, I guess. I can tell you one thing, Alondro says. No one but teachers called him Zachary. To everyone else, he was Zach or the Z-Man. The He was Zach or the Z-Man. Z-Man, Brandon laughs. How lame is that? Who called him that? Me, Tayshawn says. The other guys on the team. It was respect. You wouldn't understand. I thought he was cute, Chanel said, smiling at Sarah. I was kind of jealous of Sarah, you know, because she was dating the cutest guy in school. Sorry, Sarah. Sarah gives a tight smile in return. Everyone else is looking at me. Lucy nods. Lots of us thought he was cute. We're all sorry. Sorry for what? That Zach did or that they didn't get to date him before he died. I never heard Lucy say anything about Zach before he died. Yeah, she'd always been pinning after Tayshawn. Did being dead make Zach cuter? They they continue to go around the circle. Each person, each person says something meaningless. But the end of the session, none of us knows a single thing about Zach that we didn't already know. He still did, but I mean, he still did, and we don't know how or who made him that way. Family history. One time I almost killed Jordan. I can't remember what he'd done. It could have been the time he told about my sneaking about my sneaking out at night down the fire escape, or the time he drew all over my favorite running shoes. Telling, stealing, destroying, that's Jordan standard MO. But one day the Henrys hen I mean the hen the heinous I don't know thing he done pushed me over the edge. I stood looking at the broken fragments or the ashes or whatever it was, and what and glory what and glored over him, um, clenching my fist, ready to throw him across. Ready to throw him against the wall. Smacks his skull and have have share the shares of it pierce his brain. Watch the blood sprout from his nose. His eyes flutter, all white, jaw loose, what? Tongue lolls. I don't know. Him falling, shuddering, what? Shuddering, stealing. I could see I could see from his eyes that he knew I was ready to do it. He was frozen and trembling. He didn't scream or cry, or he knew it wouldn't make any difference. Even if mom and dad were home, which they weren't, they wouldn't get to us in time. They wouldn't stop it. Who knew they would? Who knew if they could? I'd been stronger than them for years. I drew back my right arm, ready to smash his nose across his face, drive him into the brick wall, but I didn't. I drew back from my rage. I didn't tear him apart limb from limb. I wouldn't get away with it. Even with mom and dad away, the walls between apartments are not thick. Scream if he screamed, someone would have heard him. I went into my room, shut the door, sat on the floor with my back against the metal desk, and decided to poison him instead. Mm, I didn't want mom and dad to suspect he was still little back then, 4 or 5, stupid enough to drink Drano. What? I decided to put it in his path, tell him not to drink it, then walk away. I didn't do that either. Not for Jordan's sake, but for my mom's. Killing him would hurt her and me too if I was busted. Sitting down thinking it through might sitting down thinking it through meant that I would never do it. I had to hope for an accident. Before me and Zach were put on library duty today. That's another thing about our school. You have to contribute, give back to your community. Community starts with the school, which is very clever because that means we students have the save money. I mean, have the because that means we students have the school money by doing their work for them. Mostly you volunteer for tasks. I also volunteer to pick up the trash in the park and on the sidewalk outside the school, anything that gets me outdoors. But they also like to stretch you, get you to do stuff you would never do otherwise. Like for me and Zach, neither of us readers. They make us work in the library, shelving and all that. That first time it was me, Zach, Chanel, and Brandon, a squad, squatted of non-readers stuck together at any other school that would be no big deal, but our school is full of readers. Didn't surprise me that Brandon doesn't read. He can barely talk. But Chanel wanted to be an actor. I also thought actors read a lot. It's their job, isn't it? Reading words, memorizing them, saying them out loud. Not Chanel. I don't read, but I do like libraries. I like I like order, and libraries are all about order. Every book has a place. It's quiet too. No music. I watched Zach at the other end, framed between shelves, gathering up books left on desks, on couches, on the floor. Brandon helping, though not really. He kept trying to talk. Zach would say yes or no or grunt. He likes quiet. He likes that I talk as little as he does. My job was to scan the shelves for books in the wrong place, or which they were many. I was doing fiction, Chanel nonfiction. I look for numbers where there should be letters. She looked for letters where there should be numbers. My cart's full. She called out to me, time for you to shelve them. Mine wasn't, but it wasn't far off. I wheeled it over to her. Her hers was full than mine. This meant she wanted to talk. Chanel is so afraid of silence. She would even talk to pariahs like me. We swiped we swiped cards. I pushed hers in the direction of fiction. Did you hear that Zach and Sarah split up? Chanel asked to stop me from going back to fiction. I hadn't. I hoped it wasn't true. I looked over at him. He didn't look any different. Maybe it wasn't true. I looked at Chanel. She nodded. Happened yesterday. We were both staring at Zach. I was willing it not to be true. Him and Sarah being together was what made me and Zach possible. They'll be to get back together in seconds, Chanel said. I hope she was right. Pity. He's he's gorgeous, but those two can't live without each other. Zach was on the ground reaching for a book under the couch. Tables and chairs obstructed my view, but I could see his legs, calf muscles clenching and unclenching, and the top of his head. Brandon was telling him something. I heard the words class and shit and no. Brandon liked to talk. I decided, as bad as Chanel, he's cute, isn't he? Chanel said. Brandon, I asked. She laughed. No, Zach, I'd date him in a heartbeat. Wouldn't you? I wouldn't. I like our secret. If he and Chanel really were broken up, that meant our secret would be broken too. I couldn't think of anything worse than Chanel and Brandon and the whole school knowing about us. Ooh, y'all. When I come back, y'all, I'm gonna finish. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with any and everybody. Let them know what your girl is doing on this channel. No. And make sure you leave them comments, appropriate comments. Leave a like and tell a friend of a friend of a friend to subscribe to Big Nique gang. And I am out.